Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Lessons for Life. We've made it to Friday night. How many have we done in a row? 100, feels like.
Lost count.
Well, here we go again. It's another phone in 0749 1751 203, and tonight we're talking about Captain Tom Moore. Who's he?
You're about to find out now.
Did you not say, isn't he that old man?
Well, he reached 99
Yeah.
or 100 birthday, raising around 20 million for the NHS.
Yeah, he's raised millions.
Yes. Yeah.
He's raised millions by walking up and down, which is about all we're allowed to do at the moment. So I want to ask people at home, people watching, what have you done for charity? It can be fun, it can be whatever, it doesn't have to be serious. I think British people, what with the tradition of comic relief and what's the other one? Children in need. We tend to do like wacky stuff and sit in a bath of baked beans to try and raise money for good causes. Do they do that in the Middle East? Do people dress up as teddy bears? No.
Nothing that I know.
What-
Nothing that I know of.
No. What is the nature of charity in the Middle East? And obviously, it's part of the religion of Islam. But what are the differences between types of charity? Because there's zakat, which everyone has to give, right?
Mm.
Which is meant to be for charity.
Yes.
But another word is sadaqah.
So sadaqah is
What's the difference between those two words? We've got Arabic channel with us, by the way, Dardasha. If you want any Arabic lessons, log on to Dardasha. And I just want to explore the difference between these two different words, which people think mean a similar thing. They're both forms of charity, but they're different types of charity. So we've got zakat
yeah, and sadaqah.
and sadaqah. Okay.
So
What's the
sadaqah
difference?
is a different form of charity in terms of what you want to give. You know, like you're not obliged to give that money in a way.
Which one?
Sadaqah.
Okay.
So
It's
it's
voluntary.
a voluntary, yeah,
Okay.
completely. Zakah, it depends about your earning, how much you earn. You have to give out some money out every year or so.
And who do you have to give it to?
To the needy, of course, as well. So,
And
yeah.
but who decides who's needy and who's not needy?
Well,
Or can you choose? Can you just say, well,
you
I'm
can.
going to give it to
Yeah, you
such
can
and such a
choose.
charity?
Yes, yeah, you can.
But it should be for poor people.
Yeah.
What about animals? Can you give it to the RSPCA?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure you can help animals if you wish to. But in terms of zakah, I think it is about feeding people mainly, you know. But obviously, in Islam, we are also advised to care for animals as well. So both animals and human
Okay.
have the right from us to give charity to.
To be cared for.
But sadaqah is voluntary, so you know you are. It's your choice, you know, to give sadaqah. People prefer to do it without telling that they actually did sadaqah, so they don't
Okay.
even. So I think they say the best sadaqah is the ones that you don't even tell other people about it, you know.
Okay.
So
But Captain Tom wouldn't have raised 20 million if he didn't tell anyone that he was walking up and down his garden, right?
no, but what he's done is amazing because he raised money, isn't it? Like he did it. He came up with this cause to raise this money. So I guess regardless, you know, if you will earn more money by telling other people, then why not? You know, like sometimes if I want to raise money for a charity, then it makes sense that I tell other people as well. I won't be able to afford it myself, but then I can also give charity from time to time, from what I can afford. But I don't have to keep mentioning it to the whole world and say, oh, you know, I just gave this country money or this, you know, you know what I mean? So it's like do good. You don't have to show off what you do, but then in terms of you can raise more money and spread the word to the whole
Oh
world,
well.
then yes, do so, you know? Why not? What would you do if you have now, if you would think of an idea to raise money, Julian, what would you do?
Wow. Well, in the past, when I was in school, we did a sponsored semi-naked wheelbarrow race where all the guys in my year, or a lot of the guys in my year, no women, none of the girls bothered to get involved. We were all in our pants on the field, holding the guy in front's legs, and you have to race from one end of the football pitch to the other in pairs. I organised it. I think I came third. I
Oh,
was paired up with James Parry. He was a great. He was holding my legs, and we were going like that. And it got on the local news. I think we raised something like £450. It was pretty good, pretty
you
good fun.
would you do that again now?
Would I do it again? Well, we'll have to see where James Parry is. See if we've still got the technique. Um, Triple T is in the chat is saying, "Hi, if I give money to charity, I have the right to show off or not." Well, if you
Yeah,
want to be
well,
a show off about it,
we didn't say don't, Triple T. We just said, if it's up to you, isn't it? It's a personal opinion, I would say.
yeah. Um, but that's the thing. When publicity will generate more money, I think then why not? And a lot of people have very sort of false modesty. They're like, oh well, I do a lot of charity, but I don't like to talk about it. Personally, I love to show off about it. And in 2002, I raised over £400 for, I think it was children in need. That was a lot of money back then. £400.
Well done, Julian.
Mm,
But when we ask a question to everyone else, we
mm,
have to start with ourselves.
yeah,
So Captain Tom, I can't see the name of the person that just wrote here. Safi?
Safe Clark, Captain
Safe
Tom,
Clark?
what a legend. Hi all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a legend,
Hmm.
indeed.
He's 99,
Yes. And you are 30.
nearly 99.
Okay.
I feel it. Yeah.
What's your thoughts? What can we do to raise money? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the ideal plan now? What do we do? What do the NHS
To be
need?
honest, it's an absolute, and we'll go political now. It's an absolute disgrace that a retired 99-year-old war hero has to walk up and down his garden to fund the NHS. The National Health Service, founded shortly after the Second World War, when a Labour government promised that the people that won the war, the working people, not the elites, not the politicians that stayed in the cabinet war rooms and hid, but the working people, the men that were out there on the front line, and the women who were fulfilling the place of the men who were abroad fighting, would be looked after at state level. And that's when we had a National Health Service. And for that old man to have to walk up and down his garden to raise money for something that the state is meant to fund efficiently is just an absolute disgrace.
Yes, but what are we going to do about it? I mean, hasn't people
Elected
voted?
better government. We are going to elect a better government, and we get the government we deserve, I suppose. And Triple T is saying, how did anyone donate to him? I wouldn't have a clue where to do so. What, are you living in a box, Triple T? Just get online. I think it was one of those companies that funds these type of things. It's not. I know it's not GoFundMe, but it's another one of those that do take their cut. They will have made a percentage from it. They will have profited from it, and that's a bit of. But people have to make their money somehow. But should a charitable organisation be turning over millions of pounds? where does, I mean, charity is it's meant to start at home, isn't it? It's just crazy that it's become like an industry as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what people think about, all these new charities and the links and,
Mm.
all of that you send online and you see it. And how do people feel about it? Do they trust it enough to provide their bank details, online? Things like that. I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about it personally?
Online, but yeah, I wouldn't want online banking. Someone to scam you. You'll get a funny phone call and you'll have to transfer all your money to abroad.
But have
I'm
you
I'm
have you
very worried about these things.
have you tried to donate online when you've seen, like, some people are doing it now on their birthdays, for example. So
Mm.
they would
There's a
they would put
cause.
a
Yeah, there's a
cause
cause for your
and
birthday. Yeah.
and do a donation rather
Have you
than
done one?
in my
Yeah.
birthday.
When was it? Yeah.
I haven't actually. No, I haven't. I've collected money, but not through Facebook and not through a link. But I have had people that are around me who knows me and who trust me enough
Mm.
to donate money with me, and I've managed to to send the money abroad to those who needs the money. But it's just a word of trust, So
Mm.
it's just like whoever can trust you enough to do
Yeah.
so.
Whenever you've got a bunch of people collecting money up,
Mm.
you need to put the trustworthy person in charge. Amid, Fahmawi, I miss you too. Amid is in the chat. Yeah, Amid, I met when I was involved with a charity in Nablus in occupied Palestine, and he was also contributing to the local charity. A Palestinian himself was helping to run things for Project Hope, yeah, and he was involved in the Thai boxing club there, and he's a mean man. Triple T is saying the Queen makes £500 million a year on interest on her cash, according to Dick Gregory. Wonder how much she donated. Yeah, I wonder, Mum, how much did you donate? I know the Queen watches this show sometimes, but she comes on with a fake name, so maybe she'll tell us in the chat. And occasionally, millionaires or billionaires will fund something or donate a lot of money for something or other, such as, oh wow,
What happened?
I don't know.
Did it go up?
Wait. Are we back on? This is what happens when you talk about the royal family.
I told you.
I love the royal family, and they've never put a foot wrong. See, I told you the Queen watches this. She's in the chat, and there she is, Triple T. Thank you. Yeah, I was about to mention that occasionally millionaires or billionaires will fund something that is dear to their heart. When the cathedral in Paris was ablaze, Notre Dame, people set up a fund to repair it, and a lot of people came out and said, "Oh, look at those millionaires donating to repair a church. Why don't they feed the poor? Why don't they do something good with their money?" Which is fair comment, but then why don't you start a £1 million business? Why don't you become Bill Gates? Why don't you become Bezos or whoever else these millionaires are? Wealth is not simply just shared out. Wealth is created. You need to produce something that is in demand. That will give it value, right? And I think what people object to with the likes of the royal family is they were born into it. What have they actually done to achieve it? But someone like a Bill Gates, for example, who apparently is now an expert in medicine, he has created an empire. Like him or not, he has created something that millions of people want. So he has given value to his own product.
I guess money gives you power regardless, isn't it?
Does money give you power, or does power give you money? You mean if you're born into it?
If you're born into it.
Yeah. If you're born into it, you're at a hell of an advantage, I guess.
Mm.
And Safe Clark is mentioning that Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I think it is, their venture into vaccines is simply the tip of the spear. You think there's more to come? Where is he going with this, Safe Clark? What is Mr. Gates up to? What's his idea? Because he was warning us about this pandemic, almost as if he knew it was about to happen. And is it Bill Gates that's not leaving any money to his family? Or is that another billionaire or millionaire? How would you feel if your great-granddad or someone was a millionaire, billionaire even, and in their will, they didn't leave you a penny?
It's up to them.
Yeah?
I'm not going to cry about it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's up to them, definitely. I mean, for the teaching of Islam have taught me that the sadaqah or charity is giving to the family if they are in need before other people. So if you have needy or poor, family members, then you start giving them the charity. They say أولى بالمعروف. They are,
the first in good deed.
in
what is good.
Doing good. So you'll start it with the family. But
That's like charity starts at home.
exactly. But it's your choice in the end. If also in Islam, the money is the wealth is deducted by. It's like there is a way of giving the money to the family. Worth, we say, right?
The wealth.
Yeah.
The worth.
We
or the
call
wealth?
it worth in Arabic.
Do you?
Worth. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Worth is. What did you say earlier?
Well, wealth means.
No, I'm not worth. I'm
richness.
not saying worth.
Worth is how much something is worth, but this is a different Arabic word.
Arabic word worth is what someone leaves after they die.
Inheritance.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
And it's.
Oh, that's what you receive is the inheritance.
Exactly.
What you give is your estate, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Doom sort of saying inheritance. Yeah. Inheritance is what you receive after someone passes away.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there is that, and there is the will where they will write whatever they wish where the money goes.
But there's protocol for should someone die without a will.
I guess there will be.
So.
Charity can be.
We're mentioning when Hassan Radwan said that charity can be a smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look, I'm smiling all the time because I'm just trying to,
to give your charity.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I think it is. It can be any act of kindness is a charity, but I wonder where we draw the line between what should be the responsibility of the state and what should we take care of as individuals.
Well, a lot of people are upset about the NHS, definitely. And the fact that, Boris Johnson had treatment and, he's better.
They saved his life.
They all think that he should really do something about the NHS.
And he's giving them a badge.
Sorry. They don't need a badge. They need what they need, to treat coronavirus nowadays. And in the news today as well, I had some nurses that they've been suspended because they've refused to work without masks and without, gloves and so on. So I think that's the least that they should get, and that's their rights. And I think we all have to stand up for them. Just how we are realizing now how important they are in our world and how much they do for us. Going outside and clapping and writing NHS and all of that, we should really go out there and say to the government that they need to increase their pay and they need to make sure that they have all the
PPE, personal protection equipment.
Exactly, that they need. It's their right.
today Sadiq Khan is suggesting that he thinks everyone should be made to wear a mask if they board public transport in London, which is still running, and people are getting on the bus, in the middle of the bus rather, at the front. And I think buses will be free now.
Yeah, I read
But
that too.
whether or not you think we should wear a mask, how could there physically be enough masks for everyone to wear if there's not enough for NHS professionals to wear?
Well, that's the question. I don't know.
And presumably that means that people that want to board public transport will have to buy their own mask.
I guess. I mean, a friend of mine just ordered from Groupon, I think.
Mm.
She ordered 10 masks and she gave me one. But I don't know how safe are these masks as well, you know, like these material ones. So, like, even if you're talking about masks, what masks should you wear?
Mm. Well, there's been a lot of debate about whether you should wear one, where you don't need to. Is it more dangerous if you wear it and you keep wearing it and you don't change it?
We've got a comment here about. I can't see that.
All the deadly conditions depend on charity to function. The state should fund these, I think, function as in research, etc. Yeah, I think education and healthcare should be state funded. No one should go without
I mean,
these bare essentials.
we were talking about the also about funding education, me and my sister the other day. And I don't know if you remember EMA. Do you remember that? Did you used to get that?
Yeah, my brother got it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was my days when I was in college. We used to get £30 a week for attending all the lessons. And honestly, for a lot of students, it was such an encouragement to see so many students going to the classes and
Really.
attend all the classes and get that paper signed off, and the excitement of getting that £30
Just-
end of the week.
I mean, is that how you get kids to show up to school?
Kids will get the money regardless. If they're not going to get it through AMA and education, they will go out there, especially teenagers nowadays, and get it through
Teenagers.
drugs or selling, you know, weeds or whatever. So why not get it through education, you know? I think the AMA was a very good idea. And I had friends of mine that were very lazy, but they will come to college just to get the money, and they attend the lessons. So why not, you know?
Well, if you're only doing it for the money, what are you actually learning?
It's sort of encouragement, you know? I think it's that at that age, people, you know, kids think differently, isn't it?
Very sadly, the truth is kids value money more than anything else, and they probably would learn more if you just paid them. If you just paid them to do it. End of the day, show me your work, right, you get, I don't know how much would a child want for a hard day's work at school? How much could we afford to pay them?
My daughter will be happy with £1. So.
Okay then.
The more you give, the more you're going to struggle. You can't go down anymore. So if you
Start low.
Not that I encourage money either as well. Like in schools, some believe that you should reward kids to make them want to study or do better. So there is always, you know, the star chart, and if kids do good, that star will move up and all of that. And in some classes it works, some classes it doesn't. Some kids, they don't care no matter what, you know? They don't care. Whatever the consequences reaches to, they don't care. And it works with other kids. So
the bottom line is everyone is selfish and won't do anything unless there's something in it for them. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
What is it in your life that you do and you know you're not going to get anything out of it, but you still do it?
Only if you do it for your family or your children or something like that.
And that's where the thought of becoming a charitable person, isn't it? You have to think that you can give money.
There are people like Captain Tom who must have regarded the country as his family. Maybe the fact that he was a soldier on the front line risking his life for his country made him think in that bigger picture that yes, I want to do something for these people. Yeah, I don't know. We spoke the other night about sacrifice and is any act truly selfless? You could probably debate it all night. Life is life. Neymami says, done a good word, smile, help other, money, peace and care about others. All good words. Need a little bit of punctuation in there, but I like the vibe. Positivity. Yeah, that's what we need. Even just some positive mantras at the moment. Just keep telling yourself everything's going to be all right. I'm going to be okay. We're going through a hard time at the moment, but it's good to stay positive, which is why I'm trying to do other subjects other than blooming COVID-19, but it's all that's on our mind at the moment. Safe Clark is mentioning that the masks that work, in case you are interested, are called FFP3 masks. 3M make them, according to the studies. Yeah. Andre McIntyre, who's on this show, sometimes he, I believe, has several different masks and he knows the different categories and grades in between them.
What I find strange these days as well, a lot of people that goes outside and they don't touch anything, just from their car to whatever and then come back. They're saying even just being outside, they feel like they are struggling to breathe somehow. Is that just a fear of being outside? And why is it shared between a lot of people? I know you're going to say to me, don't say it. I'm not going to say it.
If you say it,
I'm not going to
the
say
video can have a
I'm
problem.
not going to say it.
You know what happened when we mentioned the Queen? The camera turned off. So don't even mention the number after 4 and the letter after F.
But people are actually fearing to breathe outside nowadays. And it makes me feel sad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go outside, I don't wear a mask myself. And I'm not saying you should do so. That's a personal opinion. That's my choice. And I drive. I'm not in transports as well. So I don't feel like I am, putting myself at risk. But we don't know where these viruses anyway. But I need that fresh air, I need it. I can't be in my car and cover my face and not be able to breathe. The reason for me to be out of the house to start with is to breathe fresh air,
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to suffer because, the lockdown was necessary, but fresh air is necessary. Sunlight is necessary. Vitamin D is necessary. Have you heard they're saying that black people are suffering more than white people from the coronavirus?
I heard the opposite. I heard black people
Initially, I heard that in terms of globally, perhaps, but now ethnic minority communities, and perhaps not even just black, ethnic minority communities in general are suffering from the coronavirus more so than the white population.
Why is that, do you think?
Why
Are
do
they
you
not following the rules?
Why do you think it is?
Big
Are they
families?
not here comes the racism. Big families not following the rules.
That's where I am an ethnic minority myself, and I come from a big family. Are we following the rules? We are following the rules.
Triple T, if you can get on the phone, I would like to ask you why ethnic minority families are suffering from the coronavirus more so than white people. Because I know for a fact Triple T hates white people. I'd like to know what he's got to say about that.
Why do you think so, Julian?
If I had to put a number on it, or a reason,
Yeah.
could be ethnic minorities live in more built-up areas, live in London, Bradford, Manchester, Birmingham. They live in more densely populated communities, number one. Number two, well, a lot of them are from a big family, so that could be it. Living conditions. It might be genetic. It might be that white people are able to absorb vitamin D more easily than people with more melanin in their skin, who obviously have it because their ancestors needed protection from the sun's harmful rays. But when you live in a country where there's not much sun, the lighter skin allows you to absorb vitamin D more easily than the darker, melanated skin. That could be a factor. Safe Scott is saying, in the UK we have a massive ethnic minority frontline staff within the NHS too. That's another good point. The NHS staff will be disproportionately ethnic minority community workers. And Annabelle Rastrill is giving us the fire symbol. Thank you, Annabelle. I'm glad to hear from you. Yeah, and why are men suffering or dying more than women?
Are these the figures that you've got? That more male are dying from coronavirus?
Yes. But more men die anyway. I'm not sure how that works, but men die on average at a younger age than women.
Men will die out of fear. Maybe because they won't be able to cope with the news regardless. They listen to news more than women. They are more depressed with the news.
I'm trying to remember a joke that a comedian told us in Camden. Something about why do Jewish husbands die before their wives? I can't remember the answer. Write it in the comments. Yeah. And Safeguard is mentioning that the NHS wouldn't function without the migrant and ethnic minority workers. Yeah, of course it wouldn't. Built on the back of the empire.
Have you heard in the news that the first NHS also doctors that died, or the majority were Muslims as well, and people are questioning that.
Whether they were Muslim?
They were Muslims.
Okay, who's questioning it?
People.
Which people?
Comments that I read, in articles, and so you didn't come across that.
I remember reading the names. I think of the first 3 NHS doctors that had passed away from coronavirus, and they appeared to be Arab names, yeah, Muslim names. And do you think people said that was propaganda, or why would you dispute it?
Yeah, that's why people were questioning, why is that, and I don't know. I mean, I don't look into it from that perspective myself, but I thought you might have came across it at some point.
No, I did see the names. I didn't know that people were questioning it. I have no reason to question it. People will question everything. People are questioning whether this is real. They are questioning whether the lockdown was necessary.
Did you come across people that doesn't actually believe in coronavirus yet?
I think there are points to be made about the testing and the definition of whether you die from or die with coronavirus. But if you break the figures down, the average number of people dying per week is up hugely. I'm not going to put a figure on it because I'm not confident with the figures, but it's enough for me to be convinced that not only are people dying en masse from COVID-19, many, many more people than would normally die on any given week, on any given year, any given day are dying. And I attribute that to the COVID-19 virus. But we've got a caller. Welcome. Who is this?
Hello, mate. It's Sean.
Hello, Sean. We were talking about charity originally. I was going to have a nice positive evening, but of course I've got dragged back into the politics of it all. But how are you doing, Sean?
Not too bad, mate. Obviously, I can see that you lot aren't going to agree with me.
Here we go.
I was just going to say, with this whole coronavirus,
yeah,
I personally, I don't believe this was an accident at all.
Get your tin foil out. Sean's got a new hat. Go on, Sean.
I'm just sort of saying, there's videos of Barack Hussein Obama talking about it, saying that this might happen in the future. There's a film, Contagion, that talks about it and the rest of it. So I think this is a weapon of warfare that's being used, and it's a way of making people forget that people are in charge and they're in power, and they're trying to whenever there's there's distraction tactics.
You're right there, Sean. You're coughing a bit.
By the government.
Yeah. So, because there's a film called Contagion, you think it might be fake. Have The Simpsons predicted this one? They predicted most things, didn't they?
Well, no, they have. No, I'm not saying purely just because of Contagion. What I'm saying is, this is a known thing that we knew could have happened, and people use tactics to sort of divert from things. If you look at like the 1%, I don't know if you know about the 1%, but they're like the top people in the world that have most of the wealth, right?
Yeah.
So what they always do is they try and create a common enemy, whether that's a war, whether that's something else. And I think in this case it's the disease, and I've made the common enemy the disease. So we all stay at home like good little children, and we do what they say. And it's just a way of controlling us. I don't believe that there's this disease that's just going around that's causing all this damage. Or if there is, it was man-made. I don't believe it's by accident. I think we're too smart for that. That's what I'm saying.
Which men or women created it then, if it is man-made? And it might be, Sean. I'm being a bit pedantic with you. In the chat, Triple T is saying, I agree with Sean already. And it may even have been on The Simpsons. And Doom Source is saying it's a reminder that humans are not as big as we think. So yeah, who do you think might have made it if it is man-made?
Well, you've obviously heard of the Rothschilds family. You're not.
This video's about. It's been great having a channel. Thank you very much. Cheers, Sean. Gotta go. Okay, yeah. You go on, Sean.
Yeah. So there's all this, there's a whole bunch of people who are like the elite who run things. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to you. Think about it just for a moment, right? Both of you. Think about it. Does it make sense that such few people hold all the wealth?
The thing is, Sean, and I'll be honest with you, there may be some truth in what you're saying. I'm sure there is, but a little knowledge is dangerous. And when people start throwing names around like the one you just mentioned, other people leap on that and they use it to tar all people from a similar ethno-religious group as being conniving and devious and love money, that sort of thing. So it's very dangerous when that name gets thrown around just because of the propaganda that can go with it. But I take your point. Hold on a minute, Sean, because someone's got a request. Okay.
Just the point I'm making is I think we're very smart. We know what's going on in the world. If you think, we've sent a man into space, like on the moon, all of these things. I don't believe.
Oh, you believe in that one, do you?
This little virus would cause that problem.
We're going to disagree with that. You think they sent a man to the moon?
You think there's no cure for cancer?
Look, Sean, before you go, Hassan Radwan is asking, can you ask the caller to please explain what exactly they, inverted commas, hope to gain? Yeah, what did they hope to gain by spreading this disease which kills everyone, presumably themselves also?
Well, firstly, there you go, scaremongering. It doesn't kill everyone. That's, if you look at the percentages, it's like negligible. And I think what it is to create panic, to create a scare, to create a common enemy.
It doesn't kill everyone, but the people that it kills are completely dead.
Say again?
It doesn't kill everyone, but those that it does kill, it kills them. Totally.
Any war you start, there will be people to die, right?
Riding your bike in the road, there's things that kill you, right? Yeah. There's always going to be things that kill you, but it isn't killing everyone. There's scaremongering.
Okay, but to pin you down, Sean, what did they gain as opposed to the drawbacks? The drawbacks being risking everyone's health, panic. I mean, destroying an economy has got to be bad for the rich as well as the poor, hasn't it? There are no winners in that. What did they gain? What is the precise benefit, if you could sum it up?
So brilliant point. You'll find that most billionaires are made after the economy crashes. If you look at the recessions or the Great Depression of the 30s, you look yourself and see how many people became billionaires. People make money off great losses. And that's what you do. You wipe millions, billions off the economy and the rest of it. Okay. People can grow from that. You then invest. You bring the price right down and then you make your money afterwards. It's just natural history.
There you have it, Hassan Radwan. That's the benefit. They would reduce the cost of everything, buy everything and then have it all when the price goes back up. I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I think there's a lot to gain. It's not killing everyone. It's not putting everyone's lives at risk. And I believe those people who've caused this to happen, they've got the vaccine already against it. They're not stupid.
All right, Sean, you've thrown a very interesting hat into the ring. One more question though. Hassan Radwan is saying, so you are saying the people behind it are people who are not billionaires. Are they not billionaires already then? These are people that want to become billionaires. Maybe it was you, Sean. You've got this idea.
If you have the money, it's never enough. You just want to make more money, isn't it? Billionaires want to make more billions.
So there might be billionaires that want to become trillionaires.
Exactly. It's all, look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how rich you are, you compare yourself to your contemporaries, right? So if I live in an area, my next door neighbour buys a car that's nicer than mine, I want a car nicer than mine. So even billionaires compete with each other. It's all right for us to say, oh, they're billionaires, they don't need money. But it's not about that anymore. It's a numbers game. It's about control. It's about power. It's about getting outcomes that you want, whether you belong to one group or another. The world is, I'm sorry, I think it's just too simplistic to be like some Japanese geezer in China at a bat, and that was it.
Absolutely, Sean. Thanks for that. Sean, while I've got you here, I'm going to lighten the mood. Have you ever done anything for charity yourself? Sat in a bath of baked beans, maybe?
Yeah, no, I've actually I'm known to be a bit of a runner, so I've done a half marathon before.
Wow, 12 miles, 13 miles.
13.1. Yeah, 13.1.
Here goes my maths.
So, yeah, I've done that, and to me, we've all got to help each other. At the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Not literally, obviously, but we're one family, and if we don't work together, and this is the problem, the bigger thing is what I was saying, we have to realise if I don't look after my sister, my brother, metaphorically speaking, who's going to do it? Do you know what I mean? It's time to stop thinking about us, and it's time to start thinking about the collective us, rather than me and my family, or me and my village, or my town. It's the end of the day, we're all inhabitants of what we call planet Earth. And that's just what I'm saying on that.
Wonderful. John, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. That's lovely to hear from Sean. Bit of a runner, half marathon runner. And he wants us to see each other as brothers and sisters, metaphorically speaking. Back in the chat, HK Stocks is saying the virus was caused through negligence and not in the lab. Then China delayed telling the world for 2 months. The WHO, that's the World Health Organization, for 2 months, and our naive governments ignored the scientists. Well, you would ignore a scientist, wouldn't you? Because they don't have any people skills, and they carry clipboards and wear those white shirts. That's the problem with scientists. We're more likely to listen to, I don't know, Russell Brand. No offence to him. I'm sure he's a clever guy, but he's not a health expert. But someone like Russell Brand is very appealing, very enigmatic. But scientists tend to be dull guys.
But the reality is,
and girls.
No one managed to believe about it because it just took so long for people to see that it's actually a deadly virus for them to actually believe. You know, like. Most of the places were still open, even though there were already, people that died from the virus, and yet they still couldn't believe that it's actually happening. So I guess it took them to see that it's actually a deadly virus, and a lot of people have lost their lives just to know that they need to take an action.
Yeah, crunch the numbers. More people are dying. I'm sure that some deaths are being designated as COVID-19 when they might have other underlying factors. But yeah, look, guys, this is not a joke.
Earlier on the chat, I can't remember, but someone wrote, nowadays we are aware of how many people die anyway. Before, we never knew, and we did say that before. Do we actually know how many people die every day? We don't. Do we?
I think it's about 2,000 in the UK. So recently, around half. I don't want to say the numbers because I'm going to get them wrong. On another show, I will crunch the numbers, and there's no doubt more people are dying, and many people are dying from COVID-19. With that, there is some argument to be made that some deaths that are being attributed to COVID-19 may have had other factors, but regardless of that, we shouldn't. We should take this seriously. And Triple T is saying that's the wrong number. Get on the phone, Triple T. I would love to chat to you about some of the issues we've mentioned, and especially minority ethnic groups being more at risk from this. Is it a genetic thing, as I think it might be, and also why men are more at risk than women? But we knew that already.
Please don't close the topic about charity as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that we come out from this today, the show today, just having thought of a way of raising charity. Who are we raising charity for? Who are those people that are in need? How can we reach them? What can we do for the NHS? Seriously, like, other than just raising money, what can we do? As soon as this is over, do you think people will forget about it and everybody's going to go back to work normally and just forget the NHS exists? Or are they actually going to do something about it?
I hope not. But look, we're gonna finish on charity, something positive. I want Dardasha to suggest 3 ways we can give to charity other than just simply donating money. And Hassan Radwan mentioned that you can give someone a smile. So there's a start if you need it. What are other ways that we can give charity other than just writing a check? Well, no one writes checks anymore, but you know what I mean.
I think nowadays you really have to be kind, and you really have to think of those that have coronavirus. There are people around us that have had coronaviruses, or they are actually sick and at home. Cook them a meal. Yes, and there you go. Hassan Radwan just agreed with me. Cooking a meal. Yes, and that's exactly what my mother have been doing. She's been cooking meals for, most of the people that we know of that might not have a car or need somebody, and checking those people that don't have cars, they don't have anybody to take them shopping, do the shopping for them, drop it to their house. We can really be kind, a community will work much stronger if we are all together in it. And we will get through it, hopefully, by being kind.
Brilliant.
Call your people, especially your elders. It's much scarier for older folks. Definitely, yes. I mean, I'm glad that we all agreeing on this, and just to think positively together on what we can do for one another. It's just a great act.
And what about the naked wheelbarrow race? Well, we can't do that now because it's social distancing.
It's up to you what you want to raise money, Julian. But I've been raising money personally, and if you can, if you're a person that people around you can trust you and you are able to donate to people that needs the money in poor countries, do so. Do good deeds as much as you could. There are people that are struggling to pay the rents nowadays. If you can help them somehow, why not,
Wonderful.
It is not the 1940s.
It's not the 1940s. Well, it might be rationing soon. Apparently people were very healthy in the 40s and 50s when rationing was in place because we didn't have the excess that we have now. So yeah, we're not far off rationing. All right, everyone. I want to thank you for joining me on Lessons for Life again. We've done it again. I didn't think we could get this many in a row. Tomorrow night, I'm going to advertise it now. Then maybe that will force us to do it. I've been meaning to get around to it. I'm hopefully going to be on the phone to someone who can tell me more about the World Health Organization. Are they corrupt? Are they not? We'll find out tomorrow night. Do you think the World Health Organization is corrupt?
I don't think so. And
well, I do. I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Hassan Radwan. He's saying we're doing well. Thank you so much. HK Stocks, much respect to you.
Thank you.
It's the World Health Organization. We're going to find out whether or not they're corrupt, that will be tomorrow night from, you guessed it, somewhere between 10 and 10:30. This has been Lessons for Life, and we'll do it all again soon. We were here. We're gone. Later.
General.